look at PCM company form, what we find is that the only way to display secondaries and searches in UX client is to display them as grids. Now, there are primarily two major problems with grids. One is that when there's not enough space, the horizontal scroll bar shows up, which means that it is very difficult to see this in case of mobiles or tablets. The other major problem is that when you have to highlight certain fields, it is not possible to do that in case of a grid. Suppose here I want to highlight that account manager is Conrad grid for all these contacts, or in case of an opportunity, the total amount is needs to be highlighted, but we can't do that without additional coding. Now, the solution to all this is Widgetizer. What we can do with the Widgetizer is add widgets to a form without doing any coding. All you have to do is add a configuration, select the table and the form that you want to modify. So I am selecting company and UX company form. What I want to do is change the way activities looks. For example, I want to get the data from the activities search and display them as activity cards, and I want to display it in, there is a preview location if you remember, so I want to display it in the preview location, and there's an option to show it by default or show the grid. I will show it by default, and that's it. Select the save and you have configured your UX company form. Now let's go and see how the company form looks after this major configuration changes. Let's open the ABC Architect again. The primary form looks almost the same, but the difference happens when you go to the Activities tab. Earlier you had boring grids, now you have custom control, which came about without you actually doing any scripting. Now, when you have to do a preview, all you have to do is select the show more, and you see the body of the interaction, and here you can easily make out what is the kind of interaction that is there. You can highlight any of the fields like the subject or whether it was completed or not very easily. Also, just like a regular grid, you can click on this and the corresponding interaction opens up. Now, if you want to go back to the grids and see do certain operations like sort and export, you can click on this icon and you can shift back to the grid, and you can always shift back, as I said. Now let's go back to the configuration and add few more things. Another type of widget that we provide is visiting card, and the layout I would say is cards and not row, and I want to display the contact secondary in a different and a nicer way, and I want to display it in a field that I have in a primary segment that I have kept, and I don't want to display it by default. That means it will show the grid by default and the user would have to click on an icon to make it show up. So let's go to the company form again and let's have a look. Suddenly the contact form, contact secondary looks the same, but there's an additional icon over here. What this icon is showing is that clicking on that you can show it in terms of cards. So suddenly you have card view of the same secondaries, but with a nicer look. The advantage of these cards is that when you have opened it in a smaller screen, right? So let me try and reduce this size. So as the size reduces, it reorganizes itself and you still see the entire information without you having to scroll horizontally. I'll switch back to the grid so that you can see the difference. So this is the original mechanism to see all the data, and here's the grid mechanism, right? And another feature that we have is that preview, form preview. Right now, if you have to see any detailed message related to these opportunities, you have to open this record up, and then you get to see some information about that. What we have done in the widgetizer config is that you can preview a form or preview a secondary without actually opening it in a new form. So I will add a embedded form as a type, and I want to view opportunities. Now hopefully, yeah, there is a location for showing that, and I can select which kind of form to show. So I'm going to show the default UX opportunity form, but you can show any form you want. Going back to the company record, what you see here is opportunities shown up as secondaries, but in addition, when you select a record, the corresponding record shows up over here in the section that we had specified. So you can see additional data about related to the opportunity. You can go and select the different tabs and look at all the information without actually moving out of your company record. Thank you for watching.